This is more my speed. So I'm glad I missed Freakout City over the weekend, and it was rock bottom for this team. It was well-deserved criticism for them. But all this talk of the beginning of the end of Brad Stevens and this team's demise as a whole, premature. You know, there's a lot of issues here. There's a lot of stuff we're going to have to hash out in terms of roster adjustments and everything else. But there's pieces to work with here, and I think this team's closer to needing a few minor adjustments than being a constructual failure from the start and not being able to be redeemed. That tonight was another example of that. When you get your rotations down in a good way, when you lock in defensively as this team did, good things are going to happen. So it's a consistency factor right now. But John, all the credit to you. You called out almost every adjustment that they need to make here and predicted a lot of the stuff that we're going to see tonight. So I'll give that all to you. Aaron Nesmith and Robert Williams' extended run both work fantastic here, and the bench was the difference in this game.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's Brad. The key takeaway here is Brad Stevens obviously watches this show and took some cues, and that's obviously all that really had to happen. You play the kids and then you live with it. But this always happens. It's the post-team meeting game. It's the post-rock bottom game. Exactly. It's the post, in this case.
Nuggets had no one, too.
It's the post, Danny goes running to the media to cover for his coach and kind of tacitly, call out the players. And that's how you call out today's modern-day NBA players, by the way, what Danny did over the weekend. And we'll get into that.
They read the Boston Herald.
Harold, look, Danny volunteered to do 2 interviews with the 2 major papers in town, and to basically, by saying it's on me because I picked these players, saying these players are playing like bums. So he took some heat off Brad for sure. And we'll get into some of Ainge's comments later. But let's start with tonight. Again, you had a few things going on. The number one, again, we could easily run through the most important things that happened in the game, but it's really hard not to look at this and say that this was kind of like the Aaron Nesmith game. And not because he played great. I thought he was pretty okay. But he did – he was the first guy off the bench. That mattered. He played 23 minutes. Yeah. A lot of people were saying maybe he was rewarded for his effort, because he was running around like crazy. He still looks pretty tentative and lost at times, but, he's trying. And this is what we talked about. It's not that Aaron Nesmith – and we were arguing about this on our thread all day. It's not that Aaron Nesmith's better than the players out there. He's not better than Semi. He's not – but you want him to be. You got to give him a shot. You got to live and learn with a little bit. I'll take an effort like this every single time if he's out there. Totally imperfect. At times he disappeared. But, I mean, nothing but positives off of tonight, I don't think.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm with you. I mean, I didn't think he looked amazing out there, but he looked a little more comfortable than we've seen him before in the past, right? And I also think that the rest of his teammates are starting to realize, okay, they're starting to look for him now more often. And I think a lot of that has to do with his effort. I mean, you're putting effort on the defensive end of the floor, especially in the game against the Denver Nuggets. I think that went a long way. And I think they rewarded him. They were looking for him for open shots. And credit to him, he wasn't afraid to take those. So much credit to the rookie. But, I mean, is this the norm now? Is this like the rotation? This is it? The Celtics just fix it? Is this all it took for everyone to just panic real quick and then the Celtics come out here and beat the Nuggets and now all the problems are solved? No, come on.
No, but we debated it a little bit.
No, I know. I'm just sort of responding to Bobby, being like, here we go, guys. This is a rotation.
Right.
It's cemented, guys. This is it. No, I don't think it works that way.
Is, but
it's a big win against a talented Nuggets team. And that
Jimmy,
boy
let me ask you.
Is no joke. He was on pace to drop 50 if it wasn't for the Celtics.
Well, let me ask you, Jimmy, if it's an effort thing, who do you think? Do you think what do you guys read into not seeing Grant or Teague tonight? To me, if you're concerned about effort and then guys don't play in a game after you're saying I'm not seeing effort, that has to lead me to believe that these are the guys you don't think are putting in effort. And I don't know that for sure, but that's a strange message to send. Just a DNP-CD a couple of guys after you basically say, we're not playing hard enough. Kemba says it. Danny says it. Then you see a couple of guys completely disappear from the rotation. That's not a good sign. Teague, we know. Teague's going to be shot out of a cannon into the sun once they have a full roster here. He's going to be bought out. He's not going to finish this team. There's no reason to complain about Teague anymore. There is no Teague. Okay.
No, that's a good point because I thought of Grant Williams tonight.
They should just hand him off to Atlanta at the end of the week.
I thought about the fact that he didn't take any shots last game, and I think that doesn't bode well with Brad Stevens. He's like, hey, you've been getting a lot of reps out there. Yeah. Maybe it's not more of a you're not working hard enough or an effort thing. It's more of a, are you still afraid to take these shots? Because I got a line of guys that are willing to take that spot if you're not willing to.
Right. What are you doing out here? You know, we talk about bench guys. You want them to come in and give a spark. You know, I think that's as much as why Nesmith plays. I don't know whether something comes up on high from Danny, which is to say, so I got you some guys. Maybe try to use some of these guys, you know, because this is a fallback all coaches have. And again, we talked about it. Belichick did it to the point that he drove fans crazy. He wasn't playing Winovich and Uche and all of the younger rookie type guys in a team where you're like, what are you playing these old losers for? Like the John Simons and the blah, blah, blah. It's very analogous to what's going on with the Celtics. It's safer to play guys who you have some experience with who are going to do the things that you want to do, but your ceiling it can only be so high. And this is the argument for living and dying with Rob Williams, occasional brain farts. First time he tries to guard Jokic, he falls for an up fake and Jokic walks right by him. Great. Then he goes down the other end, boom, tips an offensive rebound, hits a baseline jumper, and it's great. It's negated. It's a positive and a negative. He does too many positive things to leave him off the court. And I think a lot of these guys do. So you got to live with the bad because the ceiling is so much higher with some of these guys.
Yeah, I think when we saw Rob, Pritchard, and Nesmith in the first quarter, I think collectively our heads just spread off. I mean, that's like, how many times have we screamed into this camera here and just said, why are these guys not playing? Like, we don't understand it. Like, what did they do wrong that they can't get on the court?
The Detroit one on Friday, especially.
Yeah, exactly. So seeing them in the first quarter and get some actual meaningful minutes in playing well and giving them energy and showing a spark, I think that's what it was more than anything. And at that point, if you're Brad, why even go to Grant? Why go to Teague? I don't think, listen, we already mentioned it. Teague is who he is. Grant, he's not like a, you know, I know that he made a start and he's been playing more minutes than maybe we thought he would, but Brad's not sending a message by sitting those guys. He's just sitting them because they aren't good and they aren't playing well and they're not helping them win. So let's not overthink it. Like, oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to send a message to Grant Williams and Jeff Teague. No, listen. If Tatum and Brown and those guys didn't play tonight, or if they had their minutes cut in half, that's a message. But you know, not playing Grant and Teague doesn't mean anything to me. What it means is that maybe Brad's finally coming around on some of these other young guys and guys like Rob. When Rob's in the game, I mean, he's one of the best PERs in the NBA, and he's averaging 14.
Jimmy loves PER now. He's been glued to that page.
I'm not a huge PER guy, but I'll use it in this case because, I mean, why the hell else does ESPN pump it all the time? It must mean something to a lot of people.